Thanks for staying with us during that extended break. We have as our guest today, Alicia Cummings. Alicia, thank you for joining us. She's a real estate attorney. And Alicia, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Thanks, Rob. So again, my name is Alicia Cummings, and my firm is Crowley and Cummings. And we have been practicing exclusively in real estate for about 10 years now. I have a partner, Dave Crowley. We specialize in residential and commercial, and we represent both buyers and sellers, and we work with lenders and realtors and pretty much cover real estate A to Z.
So while you're covering real estate from A to Z, at what point do you typically get inserted into a typical transaction, be it a buyer or a seller that you're representing?
On the seller side, a lot of times you're going to be working, a typical seller will be working with a listing agent. They'll list their property, and there'll be items that an attorney should be involved with, such as making sure that the seller has clear title to the property and that there aren't title issues that can hold up a closing.
So you'll do some title research even at the preliminary stages when something's going to be listed?
We will, and we actually offer that with listing agents that we work with. We offer that as a free service to the sellers before they've even brought us on board as their attorney when we're working with a listing agent that we have a relationship with. What that does, in a typical real estate transaction, the title search is going to be done by the buyer's bank attorney. What we do is, for the sellers that we're working with as their attorney, we do a full title search, and in Massachusetts, that means 50 years. You have to search the title, everything that's been done to a real estate property for 50 years. We'll do a free title search when we're working with the listing agent to identify much earlier than the seller would normally find out about title issues, anything that's happened to the property that could hold up a closing.
And what would some of those things be?
Because in the past 10, 15 years, refinancing has been so common, what will happen is folks will refinance sometimes every few months, every couple years, every 5 years. And when someone refinances, their existing mortgage gets paid off. That's fine. So it's paid off. It's not existing anymore as a lien or as a debt, but it's still technically a lien on the property until it's been discharged of record. This is really common. It's not a huge title issue to solve or to cure, but it can be time consuming, because what you have to do is go to the Bank of America or the Wells Fargos of the world and say, you didn't properly discharge our mortgage, can you send us a confirmatory discharge? That needs to be recorded at the Registry of Deeds. That can take a long time. If you're not finding out about these title issues until the buyer's bank attorney lets you know 2 weeks before closing, that can hold up a closing and be costly. We're going to identify that for you as soon as you list the property with your realtor.
So if I own a home and I'm just thinking about selling the house, and I've owned it for 30 years and I know that I've refinanced 4 or 5 times, is it worthwhile before I even start the process of selling my house to contact an attorney just to make sure there are no title issues?
Absolutely. I mean, it's one of the things that you want to do to get your home ready for sale. Most folks actually don't do that. That's taken for granted that, you talk to a listing agent, a lot of people know about staging your property, preparing it for sale from an aesthetic perspective, but the title perspective, the legal aspect of it, most average homeowners don't think about that until they're into the process with an actual buyer. For the seller that takes advantage of getting this done ahead of time, that puts you ahead of the game so that you can offer to buyers, here's the title, we already have identified issues, we've cured them, and it puts you that much ahead of the game as far as other sellers are concerned.
Yeah, because most people would assume you're going to refinance your loan and you've paid it off and that's the end of it. You don't even think about the actual legal discharge of the mortgage.
Exactly. A lot of people will say, well, I've refinanced twice and I haven't done anything else to the property, and there can't be, I know exactly what's been done. Most people don't go to the county registry of deeds office and check to make sure that what is supposed to happen in the normal course of business has happened. The reality is, about, I'd say 60 to 70% of the time of the titles that we look at, there are these clerical but still title issues that have to be dealt with. But it can really hold up a closing if you have buyers that are on, which most buyers are, on an agenda where they, in a time frame where they have to buy the property at the agreed upon time, and you're saying, ooh, I don't have clear title to the property, and it could hold it up.
So whether or not you have title insurance, you could still have a title issue, correct? So it's just a matter of, if you have the title insurance, then it's typically going to be taken care of by your title insurance company. If you don't, it's more your responsibility?
There are 2 types of title insurance. There's lender's title insurance, and any time a buyer is purchasing a property and they're using an institutional lender, they will be required to get lender's title insurance. It's one of the closing costs. When buyers are quoted closing costs, lender's title insurance is one of them. It's a standard rate. It's in Massachusetts, the standard is $2.50 per thousand of the loan amount. They have to get that no matter what. And it's loan specific. You get it every time you have a mortgage. But the buyers don't have any claim under this lender's title insurance policy. They have no rights under the policy.
Because it just covers the loan amount.
Correct, and it covers the lender. The lender is the one who has the claim. Buyers and homeowners can purchase owner's title insurance. This is a one-time purchase. Generally speaking, you get it when you buy the property. And you get a discount because you're also purchasing lender's title insurance. So it covers you for the entire time you own the home. It covers against, again, things that you might not know about when you do a normal title search. For instance, for years, the real estate industry, as everyone knows just by watching the news, for the past 10, 15 years has been very busy. There's been a lot of volume, been a lot of purchases and refinances in the country, across the country. The way that the records are kept are at the county office registries of deeds. It's just human and data entry is the way that the records are kept. There's a lot of room for error because there's such high volume, and so liens can be improperly referenced. That's still a lien on the property, however. So that's a bigger extreme. The seller
somebody has to pay somebody to get rid of it.
Right, exactly. It's still a lien on the property. It still has to be dealt with. If you have title insurance, the title insurance company deals with this for you. As a quick answer. If you don't, you deal with it and you pay for it. So, like any other type of insurance, it covers for the unknown or the unforeseen. And when you have, for instance, when you have homeowners insurance or hazard insurance, everybody's required to have it when you have a loan. And most people, even if you don't have a loan, want to have homeowners insurance or fire insurance, hazard insurance.
So of all the closings that you've done, both on the buy side and the sell side, what percentage of the time would you say there's an occurrence where a title issue comes up? Because
of the frequency of the small title issues that I mentioned, which can be costly and time-consuming, probably 60 to 70% of the time.
Okay.
That a lot of the time these do get dealt with prior to closing, but in the event that they aren't, the title insurance companies will indemnify the buyers, the bank attorney, and the buyer's title insurance company. So the title insurance company essentially takes the risk, and then you can close as planned, and everybody moves on. As a homeowner, as a buyer, I think there are three main ways that you can protect yourself. There's your homeowner's insurance or hazard insurance, which everybody pretty much gets across the board. That's fire insurance, hazards. There's owner's title insurance, which again is what we've been speaking about for the past 5 minutes. And then there's declaration of homestead, which is the simplest but in some ways the most important protection. In Massachusetts, homestead rights are not automatic. You have to actually affirmatively declare homestead. The homestead rights right now protects your equity in the property up to $500,000 of its value. What that means is that if anyone sues you and recovers judgment against you, even a court cannot force you to sell your home to pay the judgment if you have declared homestead. So it's relevant for your primary residence only, for your home. You can't declare homestead on investment properties. And recently the homestead laws were rewritten so that there is some automatic protection. But you have to affirmatively record a legal document at the Registry of Deeds in order to obtain homestead rights in Massachusetts. As an attorney, when we're buyer attorney, we do this just for free. This is part of our buyer representation. And if without homestead, though, technically, if you have work done on the property and maybe you don't pay the contractor because you don't think they did a great job, they sue you and they win. If you have homestead, they can't force you. Even a court can't force you to sell your home to pay the judgment. You rear-end someone in a car accident, and they recover judgment against you. You've declared homestead. They can't force you to sell your home to pay the judgment. If you go to sell the home, it may still be a lien on your property, but again, you don't lose your home because of losing the judgment.
Right. And homestead, like title insurance, if it's not something that you currently have, you can at any time go and purchase an owner's policy.
Yes, at any time. You absolutely should. The Registry of Deeds charges $36 to record it. It's most effective to buy it when you purchase the property because then it covers you from prior to when you bought it and the time forward.
All right, I want to ask another question about title insurance, but just to clarify, so if I don't have any kind of loan or any kind of mortgage on my house and it's worth $500,000, that potentially is exposed unless I declare homestead on it, which is basically doesn't require a whole lot to do, and
Right.
you're just protecting yourself. So you're protecting $500,000 for next to nothing.
Correct.
Right. Title insurance. Okay, so let's say there's somebody who bought their house 20 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever the number may be, and they don't know if they have a policy. I mean, A, how do they find out, other than going through paperwork? How do you find out if you do have a title insurance policy? And if you don't have it, how hard is it to get one once you're already in the house?
Right. The easiest thing to do is if you think you may have one, and it does require looking for a little bit of paperwork, look for what's called the HUD settlement statement, which is used to be 2-page, now 3-page document that has all of the numbers on it from when you bought the property. Any numbers that exchange hand have to be on this. The title insurance company would be on there.
Okay.
Other than that, I mean, if it was 15, 20 years ago, if you have no idea, there's some big title insurance companies that you can always check with, but you'd have to do a little bit of research. So that would require. You can purchase it at any time. So if you're sure you don't have it, you find you don't have it, you want to purchase it. And right now, the rate in Massachusetts is $4 per thousand of the purchase price. So on the $500,000 appraised value, for instance, that's $2,000. Owner's title insurance, like I said, is a one-time purchase and protects you from the time you buy it, the entire time you own the property. And it entitles you to a 40% discount of that required lender's title insurance that we talked about anytime you refinance going forward. Because it is loan specific, so it's specific to your actual loan, the loan number, everything is very specific. Even if you refinance with the same lender, same loan amount, you buy lender's title insurance again. If you already have owner's title insurance, however, that entitles you to a 40% discount of that required lender's title insurance.
So if I have a policy and I bought my house 10 years ago and I was fortunate enough to buy it in a community like Needham where property values have increased, and my title insurance was for, at that time, say a $500,000 purchase price.
Yep.
But now, over the course of the last 10 years, my home's appreciated. Is my title insurance policy still just for that $500,000, or?
There is inflation built in. There's a calculator that we can, in specific instances, we can touch base with the title insurance companies and let you know exactly how it works. But yeah, no, inflation's built in.
Okay, well that's good to know.
All right, Alicia, we're starting to run out of time. If somebody wanted to call you with questions about title insurance or any kind of real estate legal questions, how would they get a hold of you?
They can call me at any time. I actually am unique in the way that I give my cell phone. I also give my office. So my office number is 781-251-0540, and it's Crowley and Cummings. And my cell is 508-733-6335.
Okay, that will do it for our second episode of What's My House Worth. Alicia Cummings, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for coming. And that will do it for this month's episode. Be sure you tune in next month when we'll have another very special guest. For Ryan McDonnell, I am Rob Ticktin. Have a good night.
Good night, Needham.